Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick midweek update as promised. Going into payrolls on Friday, got another day ahead of us here with jobless claims and things like that for tomorrow. So pay attention to your calendar. But I did want to just kind of go back through. I want to be more consistent about posting this year. It's one of my resolutions, if you will. Um, and so I'll probably be doing these little quick videos just going through our levels as we hit midweek. So every Wednesday, I'll try to get something like this out. Um, okay. With that being said, let's get into the charts for now. I'll um, start with the fives. Start with ZF. Um, so for the week, our pivot was right here, 109.07, 109.067. Right now, that looks like it's pretty much. If you look here, I've got the week to date volume profile here. Um, so that's sort of the bottom edge. So basically, we opened up, or and charged above the pivot, and have been working our way through the other levels. We've got our volume point of control setting here at about 109.10.2. Our level was 109.097, so not bad so far. And that's about where we're trading right now. Saw some big volume come through there today. High of the week, currently in between a couple levels. That would be R2 and R3. That was a big tail, though. As you can see, the body of those candles. Oops, sorry about that. You can see that we never had a candle close above it, but we definitely tailed, and that was this morning, I believe. Um, so that's where that's sitting. We're still, let me zoom back out. Hold on. Let me give you everything in view. So as we go into payrolls, we want to be mindful of what's above. Oh yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about this too. So far, we've covered about 9.5 ticks. Our weekly expectation was 18. So that means, theoretically, in a perfect world, we've got about 8.5 or 8 3/4 ticks to cover, either to the upside or downside. So the action tomorrow, and then obviously the data that comes out Friday morning is going to dictate whether that's above or below. So for now, just kind of stuck in the middle, inside of a range that we've been in for a while. Uh, Payrolls would have to be pretty weak to push it through here. And that happens to be, you can see over here, sort of a swing high that our R3 is at. So that's what we're working with there. Let's go to ZN. Zoom. So our pivot this week was 112.10. Pretty heavy volume build there. As the week has progressed, we seem to have found sellers up here at R2 today. Although again, another tail above our level and then back below. So far, we've covered 17 ticks with 28 planned. So I'll repeat. That means 11 to gain, either above this high or below this low from Monday. I guess you actually, frankly, call it Sunday night, but again, that will be dictated by the data. But that's where we are for now, and our levels are working pretty well, I guess, in this product. This is sort of a top edge here, this R1 of that profile. But when we broke out today above it, you've got us running into resistance, and this is where these levels come in handy. Like, we have an idea of where it might chill out, when it does break out like that. So we can lean on those, and it wasn't incredibly effective. Like, chances are, if you should never just take a trade at that spot, but blindly you should wait for the opposing force to show up. But that 112.19 with 3 ticks of drawdown or 2.5 ticks of drawdown, if you did do that today, that it's not terrible. It's not the most comfortable trade though, because these guys are really pushing it. Here we go. Let's move on to TN. The Ultra 10s. Zoom in, pull it down a little bit so we can see everything. So far, we've covered 21.5 ticks with a 35.5 for the expectation. So that means we got 14 to gain, either above that, 115.075, or below the low, which is back here. I don't know why these lines aren't extending to the left. So I'm sorry, guys. It's not very pleasant to look at when you can't see it. These lines encompassing the whole week. That's the way they're supposed to work. That's what I was talking about the other day. It just hasn't. My code's not working right. I went in and corrected it, and it's still doing this crap. So it's driving me nuts. But anyway, the low of the week right now is right here from Tuesday morning, and that was about 114.18. So you'd look 14 below there or 14 above here based on where the data takes us. Again, we're not in the business of guessing. We're just going with the market, whichever direction it's taking us. This R2 here at 115.05 was pretty reliable. You had 2 ticks of drawdown. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's if you just took it. I mean, I wait for it to look above and then fail before taking a trade, just as I just mentioned. But I was trading this today. I did take that, but I was out right here-ish, somewhere in here, 114.31 before it spiked back up. It's a frustrating day because I did try to. I'll go to ZB next because I was trading over here at this point. I did try to fade this retracement. It went a lot higher than I thought it would. So I sold it initially up here at around 115.28-ish, 115.30, and then I got this move, and then I tried to fade it again in here, 115.25, and the thing went all the way, above 116 again, which kind of shocked me. But that's where we sit here. So let me pull this down. 39 ticks covered so far this week. We have 18 left. So the high of the week right now is 116.01. So a break above there, you would start targeting, it would be outside of our boundaries, but you'd start targeting this 116.19 area up here. Now let's do the math here. Let's see. These, I believe, are 9 ticks apart. So 25. Yeah, 9 ticks apart. So that'd be 11. This top one is 116.02. So you'd have 11. And then 18. That puts us right there to complete the range. So that's kind of interesting. Now, if it breaks lower, the low of the week so far was set yesterday. And this level has been so sticky. This is what I trade the most, by the way, ZB. I just like it, like the way it moves. I like TN and ZB is where 90% of my trades go. Every once in a while I'll trade ultras. I do like ultras, but ultra 30s, but they can be pretty slippery. Anyway, the low yesterday was 114.25-ish. I actually think it was 26. Yeah, it was 26. My cursor was just wrong. So if you had 18 below that, that puts you at 114.08, which would be our bottom boundary, almost, just a little below our S3. So that would be perfect. That would be one of those unicorn weeks. If we go up and sweep this 116.02 and then run it all the way down to 114.09 on the data, that would be outstanding. But we have to be prepared for whatever the data brings us. Again, I'm not in the business of guessing. So. Oh, and I'll point out the pivot here has turned out to be the volume point of control. As I mentioned in the yearly preview the other day, that's what it's designed to do. And so this is working quite well. Our R1 is trading or set right about where that top edge is. You've got this hole here that it's trying to backfill right now to clean all this up. And our R3 was 1 tick above the high of the week so far. So again, levels are working well here. We'll see where this takes us. Damn, I should have held it a little longer. I like closing positions out at 305 central or so if I have any. Usually I don't. Usually I'm done by 11. But that one I took, the sort of errant trade here, I added, and then I took it off right here just at break even. I think we've all done that. I was fairly confident we weren't going to have the juice we need to get above this, so I was okay taking, adding at 116 and averaging up, if you will. You know, everybody says don't do that, but yeah, if I'm confident, I'll do it. Anyway, had I held it, I would actually right now be up a few. So, but whatever. Who cares? Let's move on to the ultras. Oops. Sorry, guys. Okay. So ultras have done 49 ticks. They're due for 73. Don't mind the half. I guess you'd say 74. You'd have to round that up. So you got 25 left. Yeah, 24, 25 left. My levels, I don't know if you noticed this, but it seems like with this product, another reason why I rarely trade in it, is because my levels don't work that well. Couple, you saw ZN is the same way. My levels don't work that well on ZN for whatever reason. It is much more accurate on ZB and TN. Like, I have very clean reads on those. I don't know why, no clue, but that's how it works. So our high of the week so far is 118.15. So we had 25 to gain. Above that, you're looking at, let's see here, 17 plus 8. So you're in 119.08, which would put us, these are 12 apart. So 108.08, 20. That puts you right at 119. So it's kind of a screwy level. But that's where you're looking if we decide to break higher. The low of the week right now was set yesterday at 116.30. That's easy to see. We got a bubble there. So if we're going to bust below that to complete this range, we're looking at obviously 116.05, which would be below our target, our lower edge here. Now, if tomorrow, say we go sweep above and we go tag this, then that brings, obviously it changes the calculus of everything, right? You have to account for that. So that's why I have this little box here. It tells me what the range is at any given point, so I can adjust targets based on that average. In case you're wondering what I'm pointing at here, that says current weekly range. Let me just let me see something here. Maybe if I detach this, I'll make it bigger. And let me go over here. And let me change this. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. No, that's not it. Ah, here we go. This is a little bigger. I got the full frame instead of having my other stuff here. So as you can see, this says CWR. It stands for current weekly range. And the other one is AWR. Obviously, that's average weekly range. So that's what we're gunning for always. So that's where we sit as far as the bonds go. Looking pretty good. Let's pop over to equities. I have to make a minor adjustment, so you have to be patient with me. We're going to look at ES, and then I have to do something here. Bear with me just a second. I want to do C. Sorry for the delay. All right, I have to change because of the give me 1 second here. All right, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. This is just unprofessional as hell. You see these numbers up here? They're screwy. It's because of that. Here, I'll do it. I'll do it again. Give me a sec. Here we go. This is fine. We'll just do it in this screen. So unprofessional. All right, so ES has done 107 ticks. Or handles of range this week. The average is 157. That's what we were gunning for. High of the week so far is 7,675 that we set today. And let's see how our levels have worked. Let me zoom in to where it's just this week. Good God. That's a fucking, excuse my language. All right, so our top edge here held it for a while. You know, here it's 69.89 and it happens to be the volume point of control. That's refreshing, but you know, this thing's gonna do what it's gonna do. Let's see, the low of the week right here, I guess, Sunday night. No, that was last week. I guess we just opened and ran this week. So let's see here, 7, there we go. Low of the week's in here. So we're looking at 68.99.50 as the low of the week. So if we're going to get that 50 extra handles, it's either going to be 7,056.75-ish or 68.50. That would be a hell of a move. Not Our lower edge was 68.30 this week, but since we have this carry above here this morning, you have to adjust upward on the lower targets. But regardless, that's where we're sitting. So our top edge worked as a point of control so far. So that's helpful. Now we're working back down. You see our R2 here was 69, 62, 63, somewhere in there. And we're trading slightly below that at the moment. And that happens to be the top edge of this area right here. So that we broke out from over here. So pretty useful, I suppose. And now let's see here. This R1 is low volume node down here. I mean, shit, we basically just have gone straight up this week up until this afternoon when it just decided to start selling. No worries there. So remember our pivot is down here, kind of a high volume node down there. So that's nice. Did a little bit and then ran 69.11. So still above there. Still bullish even with this, 40 something point, drop here this afternoon. I don't know. I think of all this, the price action going into a big data point like payrolls to be bullshit, to be honest with you. I mean, it's fun to trade. I mean, I have to trade, so I have to trade every day. This is my job. No excuses, So even if I think it's bullshit, I still got to make money off of it. And so that's what I do. Like today in the bonds, I felt like that ramp in the afternoon was similar to the ramp in the afternoon yesterday in the equities, where it just was lockout, rally, straight up type of thing. And that kind of shit annoys me to no end. I can't help it. I like two-way trade. I like two-sided trades. I like to be able to short or buy the same day. I've never been a good trend day guy. But then, it's weird when you have days like that where, you have the chop, the two-way trade, just like yesterday in ES and today in the bonds. You had two-way in the morning, but as soon as the Europeans left, when their closes at 10:30 Central, it just turned into a straight up move, and just took no prisoners. And there are guys out there, Leo and Stowe are both really good at that. We've done spaces together talking about trend days before. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. So I didn't touch ES yesterday because of it. I took a buy when it ran back to that opening range. I think that was like 69.50. I was out of it by 69.68 and then watched it run another 30 handles. I was kind of pissed. But whatever. Anyway, all right, so that's ES. I'm sorry I went on a tangent there. Let's go look at NQ. All right, same story. We got our volume point of control is built up around our top edge. We like to see that. We like to see these levels working that way. Here's your R1 or R2 and then R1 here have served pretty well, I suppose, to contain it up until this breakout. Here's this week. There we go. So far, we've done 589.75 handles of range. We were expecting 786. So that means we've got, 186 plus 11. or plus 10, so 196 left to go, somewhere in there. And so the high today was just short of 26K. So throw that on top of there if you're bullish, or if we break that direction. See if this little trend line holds. I just noticed that. The low of the week so far is 25,406. So you'd add it to the low. Let me see, how much was it? 190? Something like that. Anyway, whatever. 186 plus 10. Yeah, 196. So 196 off the low would put you at, let's call it 224, right on our bottom edge here, actually, in this area. So that's what you're looking at there. That's all I got for you guys. Like I said, I wanted to make it somewhat quick. I think I've been going for 15, 20 minutes here. Anyway, you guys have a great week. Hit me up. You can DM me. I've been checking Substack a lot more lately. You can hit me there. You can hit me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, or Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord group, you're more than welcome to. Just hit me up. I'll send you the link. All right. Y'all have a great day.